It's Thursday, November 17, and time for the Barbados Today Morning Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. We begin with a demand from the Barbados Union of Teachers. The B.U.T says it has no intentions of disrupting this month's 50th independence celebrations, but it expects the government to settle an outstanding pay cut with teachers by the end of the month. The demand from Union President Pedro Shepherd followed yesterday's near 3-hour meeting with members at B.U.T headquarters. Earlier this year, the Ministry of Education docked the salaries of some teachers who had been summoned to union meetings.
We want our property back. I am saying that I would like my property back by the November payday. Otherwise, I personally would have to make representation for my dock pay. As a trade union leader, I believe that I have the right to call a meeting and I have the right to attend the meeting. As a trade union leader, I also have time off during the course of the work week to do union work. And I believe that it was an injustice done to me and my executive members who got their pay dock. I also believe it was an injustice done to the teachers who got their pay dock.
However, as was the case on the last occasion when teachers left school to hold talks with the union, the ministry again issued a note to all principals of public, nursery, primary and secondary schools, warning that the move was not sanctioned. Shepherd described the circular as a serious threat to the trade union movement and to industrial relations. Meantime, the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union has also sent a strong message to the Ministry of Education. Union President Mary Redmond says her members will not be intimidated by threats of docked pay for attending union meetings during school hours. In fact, she warned that any such threats would be met with the appropriate counterattack. Redmond made the comments following a meeting with close to 200 teachers yesterday at Solidarity House, as well as on the heels of the ministry's circular. Now, while the circular made no reference to the docking of pay, it informed the B.S.T.U. as well as the B.U.T that their meeting during school hours was tantamount to industrial action. But Redmond insists only the union could make such a determination.
I always thought, however, that the process towards industrial action was clear in this country and established a proper industrial relations procedure whereby you follow certain steps in taking industrial action. You declare a grievance, you have meetings, and if there's a breakdown in those meetings, industrial action is always of that type of strike action, which is really what they're referring to, is always the last resort. And therefore, for somebody to attempt to determine for us that we are taking industrial action, and then the most serious form of industrial action we see as something very serious. Because certainly as a trade union, we have to be allowed to determine whether we are striking or not, whether we are taking industrial action or not. And so we have passed a resolution, the contents of which will be made available to the Ministry of Education in short order.
Attempted blackmail. That's how Prime Minister Frondell Stewart has described the current go-slow at the country's ports of entry. The National Union of Public Workers began the action last weekend over the removal of its president, Akami McDowell, from an acting senior position to his substantive post. The Prime Minister, who spoke to reporters after completing a visit to St. Bartholomew Primary School, weighed in publicly on the matter for the first time yesterday. And he said as far as he was aware, the ongoing dispute between the NUPW and his government's Personnel Administration Division was still under negotiation.
Nowadays, it seems as though the fashion is to institute industrial action first and then start discussions. I suppose the institution of industrial action is supposed to be a subtle form, or sometimes not too subtle form, of blackmail of the employer, be that employer, the government, or an employer in the private sector. That is not the way we have traditionally done business. And I've had occasion to say in the past, and I will say again, new wine cannot be accommodated in old wineskins.
The Prime Minister made it clear that he was keeping a close eye on the situation.
I am watching the situation with great care. It is not the first time it has happened. It is not the second time it has happened. And I am concerned that we are departing from well-established industrial relations procedures. Procedures that have worked for us, that have seen us through the last 50 years of our independence. Because these procedures are based on mutual trust and understanding. It has been a voluntaristic approach to industrial relations.
In sports, the 8 quarterfinalists in the Cape Shepherd Berger Royale A1 Supermarkets National Primary School Road Tennis Championship team have been decided. Playing yesterday's round of 16 at KFC Warrens, Westbury registered a 2-0 win over Grisettes. George Lamin defeated St. George 2-0. St. Cyprian's also outplayed Vauxhall 2-0, while West Terrace won by default over Charles F. Broome. St. Stephen's beat Bay Primary 2-1. Blackman and Gollop scored a 2-0 victory over St. Jude's, while St. Philip defeated St. Martin's Mangrove 2-1, and Wesley Hall dismissed Belmont 2-0. In the quarterfinals, Westbury will come up against George Lamin, St. Cyprian's take on West Terrace, St. Stephen's will combat St. Jude's, and St. Philip will face off against Wesley Hall.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
What Maisie, this Christmas will be the best Belgian Christmas for we. Maisie, it is all because Republic Bank just like Santa Claus. Maisie fix up the kitchen and a new TV we getting. A special time to commemorate. Republic will help you celebrate.
Get ready to celebrate 50 years of independence right through to the best Bajan Christmas ever with a Make It Happen loan of up to $50,000 from Republic Bank. Give your home a good old Bajan spooser, buy some new furniture and appliances, or take an after-holiday trip to visit loved ones over and away. You could also be one of our lucky winners to share in fabulous prizes. Just visit any branch to apply. Go to republicbarbados.com or call us at 227-2700. We're also available via Skype and FaceTime. Special conditions apply.
In Bajan style, it will be great with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
In news from the region, Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, is assuring teachers that repairs will begin on schools affected by Hurricane Matthew soon. The assurance came after the educators refused to teach at the institutions. More in this report from ZNS News.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says while he understands the concern, there is a process before work could begin. He says Diamond Consultants, a technical team, traveled to Grand Bahama following the storm to assess the level of damage at those schools.
We received those reports early last week, and 2 contracts were awarded, one for Martintown Primary and one for 8 Mile Rock High School. Today, I learned that the contractors should be on the job site to start the necessary assessment and should be mobilized by no later than Wednesday of this week. We do apologize for the delay, but it's very important to understand that the technical component for assessing must be done by qualified individuals.
Minister Darville says he has been in discussions with the Minister of Education, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, about this situation.
We both have spoken with the district superintendent to get to the bottom exactly what happened today, and we learned that yes, the union was involved, but it is my understanding that since then, and the union understanding that these scopes of works have been completed and the contracts have been awarded, they have agreed to go back to school. But I want to assure the residents, the students, and the teachers that we're going to move swiftly to ensure that we get men at the site completing the necessary works as a result of the devastation of Hurricane Matthew.
And finally, reports say a hospital, blood bank and ambulances have been hit as Syrian government aircraft and artillery bombarded rebel-held eastern Aleppo. The director of the Bay and Children's Hospital was forced to take shelter in the facility's basement. Activists say at least 30 people, including children, have been killed in Aleppo over the past 3 days. And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. There you can get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.